Yeah.
Let me try again. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool, well, we're recording now. You're just gonna have to clip this shit.
Or I just won't, because it's funny.
Just leave it.
Maybe I.
Yeah.
What a great
Real
start.
cold start. Yeah.
Yeah, the ultimate cold start. You just start on a glitch. You start on a technical issue.
Absolutely.
Oh, how is our audience doing today, guys? You can imagine yourself replying to that question and me saying, "Oh, nice.
Yeah,
glad to
good
hear.
to hear it. Yeah, that's excellent.
I'm
hope every
hungover
time
and
you-
tired.
Yeah, it's getting warmer though.
It's getting very warm. The problem is, my house is a bit like a greenhouse. Because we've got what's it called? What's it called when you got an extension that's
Made of glass.
all glass?
Conservatory.
Yeah, a conservatory. Thank you. We've got a conservatory, and we got this cat, and we're not letting her outside yet, because it's early days.
Yeah.
And so we can't have any of the windows open really or anything. So the result is that it is incredibly hot. And the only solution really is for me to just have a cold shower. That's basically the only thing I can do to cool down.
Or go for a walk or something.
So yeah. I got Uber Eats today. And I had the most conversational Uber Eats delivery guy I've ever experienced.
Oh yeah.
He started telling me about how he's just bought a camper van and he's got his Xbox in there.
What the hell?
Yeah,
Why
he
is
was really
talking to
friendly.
you? Put the fries in
I
the
don't
bag,
know.
bro. Just get on with it. I mean, surely
He must.
Yeah, he must have been having a.
He
really
must just
good
be really
day.
bored.
Yeah, or just
Yeah,
be
he was
really
very happy. It's the weather. This just happens when the weather gets better. Everyone just gets nicer. Everyone gets friendlier. Yeah.
I mean, I got Papa John's delivered the other day, and I haven't had one in ages. And the guy knocked on the door and was like, "Hey, good to see you again." I was like, "Sorry, who are you?" It took me a second to realise it was, one of the guys who's.
It was Papa John.
It was Papa John himself. He called me the N-word and he left. So that's how I
John
knew it was
Schnatter.
definitely him. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have naturally black hair, does he, John Schnatter?
Definitely not.
I think he's dyed it.
His hair is like oil black.
Yeah, it's to look Italian, I suppose.
I think
the
so.
point.
Yeah, definitely.
What a funny career. I know this is like such a 2017 talking point, but
Papa John, yeah.
Oh, and it's such good pizza. Well, I feel like it's not as good as it used to be, but it was.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's one of the
better
better
than Domino's.
delivery. Yeah, it's better. It's less greasy than Domino's. It's better than like most other deliveries. What did you get from Uber Eats then?
I actually just got groceries. I got like a liter bottle of Lucozade.
Wow.
A Lost Mary vape pod.
Excellent.
And I got a steak and caramelized onion Sainsbury's meal deal sandwich.
Wow, delicious. Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah. I was really hungover.
Oh my god. How
was
far
feeling
away is your
really
nearest
rough.
shop that you need to order from?
Well, the problem is I live on like a hill, so to get to the shop, I have to walk up like a really steep hill, basically, which normally is fine, but when you've had like 8 drinks the night before, and like 3 hours of sleep, it's not really, which is my fault. I'll accept that. I shouldn't have done that, but I'm unemployed. And it's been a rough week. I spent a month applying for this job and only to get rejected. And they didn't even have a reason. All they said was, "Well, we've decided that we're not hiring now."
Yeah, that really sucks.
I think it must have been because of the Iran thing. Probably.
Yeah, maybe people pulling.
They're anticipating a recession. Yeah, so they're like, "Oh, we shouldn't hire." Maybe we don't. But so fuck you, Orange ban.
Yeah,
Drumpf.
take that. Drumpf.
Another 2017 talking point.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, we're really regressing here. One good thing about the weather, speaking of going to the shop,
go ahead.
Is when you're being able to drive with the windows down in the warm weather and have the wind blowing in your face is very pleasant. It's my favourite thing about.
I can't drive, so I can't relate to that. I really am a failure.
No, you'll be alright. You'll get a job, and then you'll be getting a car and.
Felix, this is my job. This
Right,
is
yeah.
the career. Yeah,
Right.
podcaster.
We just need to monetize it. We need some
Yeah.
ad reads. That's what we really need.
Yeah, we'll get that. We'll get the ad reads one day. I will say, actually, I did receive a few episodes ago. I read out my email address.
Yes.
My work email address, which is
Right.
athelfeather@gmail.com, AETHELFETHER@gmail.com.
Please send correspondence there.
And I did actually receive an email.
Wow. Okay.
From a Mr. Payal Dasht,
Right.
who sent me. They didn't send me any text, but they did send me an invoice for a Bitcoin payment.
Wow.
So,
Okay. This is a good start.
So this is what's called networking. So I'm building up, a bit of a network of fellow kind of businessmen, men of industry.
Yes,
I would
truly.
like to call us. Yeah. So shout outs to Payal.
I don't have any.
Who's emailing me Bitcoin invoices from from New Delhi or wherever.
Yeah. I have I don't have any spam really. Most of it's from my Amazon. That's not even spam. I must have got annoyed and put
This
those
didn't
emails
even
in
go to my spam folder.
spam.
It went straight into my main inbox.
Apparently, I have been selected by Tesco to win a £750 gift card. Although that is coming from H4Nancy at yandex.ru. So I'm not sure if that is...
I think it's legit, and I think it's probably a sign that this is maybe Tesco trying to suggest, in a preliminary way, some kind of sponsorship deal with the podcast.
This is really good, though, because they've put if you prefer not to receive further communications, click unsubscribe, and the unsubscribe link goes to the same place as all the other links on the page. So, well done, Russian scammers. Hopefully some grannies click on that link, and...
It definitely does work. I'm sure it works, or it wouldn't be worth doing all this,
Oh, I've got one about restoring my manhood. Stallion X Health Restore. Avoid prostate cancer, no sex. Stallion X Essential. What does that even mean?
So you can't fuck.
I guess.
So this is for people who don't want to fuck. They're like fucking
It's people
too much.
whose erections are just too strong.
Yeah, they're like pre-apism, and it doesn't end.
Yeah. Don't let weak
It
erections
hurts.
ruin your relationship. We're offering 100% off Stallion X. Wow.
Have you seen
It's
that video of
free.
that guy who has like a medical problem, which is that he can't stop coming?
That sounds really awful.
Yeah, and he's like, it's just a video of him, like he's doing like a voiceover explaining what his problem is, and then you just see this footage of him outside trying to go for a walk and just collapsing onto the ground
Oh my
because
god.
he's just coming.
I remember watching a video when I was like 12 on YouTube it was like a documentary about a woman who couldn't stop coming, and she'd be like doing the laundry and she'd touch the washing machine and have an orgasm. It's kind of shit you watch when
what
you're
a
11
slut.
and looking for like vaguely sexual material on safe for work websites.
Wow, yeah. Oh, just the sight of a dressed woman coming
Yeah, allegedly
for no
coming.
reason.
And
Yeah,
you're just like, wow, this is amazing.
yeah. So Chuck Norris died
Yeah.
today. Wasn't it today
Yeah,
he died?
like not long ago.
Hours ago. Oh yeah. Well, this is
Literally
going to get released on Sunday,
minutes
but
ago.
this is the Friday for the audience that we're recording.
4
yeah,
hours ago
R.I.P.
it was announced. So yeah, big up Chuck Norris. I mean, I don't think I've seen any films that he's been in.
I've
I've
seen
seen
the
Where
bit
the
in
Dragon-
yeah, I've seen that bit. I've seen the fight scene between him and Bruce Lee, but I haven't seen the whole film.
He's like a very American action star. I feel as though he's not one that we know as much about of here. You know?
Well, no one in the UK would be called Chuck, for one thing.
Yeah.
That's a thoroughbred American name. I
It's
feel
short
like.
for Charles, right?
Yeah, but we'd be like Charlie,
Yeah, Charlie
You know.
Norris.
or if you're really like estuary English, it might be like Chaz.
Holy
For
shit.
sure.
Do you know what his real name is?
What?
Carlos.
No way. He's Mexican.
Carlos Norris. Hey, man.
What?
Yeah,
Why
Carlos
is he called
Ray
Carlos?
Norris. What do you mean why? It's what his parents called him.
Yeah, but he's like ginger. Was ginger.
Do you know what? I can see a bit of. Oh, his mother's Irish and his dad is German, British, and Cherokee. I was about to say I could see a bit of Mexican in him, but maybe I can't.
No, you're hallucinating that. There's
clearly,
definitely no Mexican in Chuck Norris. And he's a hardcore Republican. He was a hardcore Republican, I should say, wasn't he?
But Mexicans can be Republican.
How many Mexican Republicans do you think there are?
I don't know. I mean, if you look at that image I just sent, he's got quite...
He does look...
He's got a touch of the sort of native... I mean, okay, maybe I can see the Native American.
Yeah. No, actually, I agree with you. He's got, kind of Incan features.
Yeah, I can see that kind of Latin American touch to him. Ooh, a Latin
I like how
touch.
our tribute to Chuck Norris on the day of his death is just us analysing his phenotype.
yeah,
doing
exactly.
like physiognomy on Chuck Norris. Yeah, I can see he must have been fairly high IQ.
His brother was killed in the Vietnam War.
R.I.P.
His dad was an alcoholic.
Why wasn't Chuck in the Vietnam War? Surely he would have absolutely destroyed out there.
He was born in
would have ended.
1940, so yeah, I guess he would have been old enough. He would have been plenty old enough.
He was a draft dodger, eh?
He joined the US Air Force in Korea.
Well, that's probably even more hardcore.
I don't think he was in the Korean War. That was in 1958, so that was after the Korean War.
Have you seen that Chinese film about the Korean War that came out like last year? And it was like the second highest grossing film. Oh my god, man. I really want to watch that film.
Chinese Korean War. The Battle at Lake Changjin.
Yes, I really want to watch this film.
Oh my god, it's 3 hours long.
Yeah, it's also the MacArthur's in it. Like, they show the Americans, and like the acting from like the white cast is astonishing. Like clearly none of them are actually American.
I can imagine it's not very good.
And the scripting for them, I've seen some clips from it, and like the scripting for the American characters is just awful. It's just so bad because it's like clearly written by Chinese people, so it's like they're saying things that Chinese people would say, but in English, and it sounds like really off. It's like, It's like, it's like any like Japanese video game from like before 2010, I guess.
Yeah. Even after.
Speaking of which, I finished Resident Evil 4. I'll say that.
I saw you playing Final Fantasy the other day.
Yeah, I got Final Fantasy X remaster.
And is it any good?
It's pretty cool, man. It's. I haven't played much of it yet. I haven't had enough chance, but I'll probably play some more of it tonight or something.
That's one with Tidus,
cool. It's
right?
Yeah, it's a really weird one. It's almost got the same vibe in a weird way as what's the Elder Scrolls game that's really weird?
Morrowind.
Yeah, Morrowind. It's like it doesn't look like very fantasy in a normal way. Like it's got some kind of weird. I think it's because Final Fantasy X the setting is like modeled on Thailand.
They came out around the same time as well.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy
it's very
X was 2001 and Morrowind was, I don't know, 2003, 2004.
Was it?
Morrowind 2002. So yeah, almost exactly the same time. People were clearly weird in the very early noughties.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Star Wars prequels. It's a similar vibe to that.
Yeah. Jar Jar.
Yeah, yeah. Jar Jar could be like a Final Fantasy character thinking about it. He's racist.
He's going to be like a weird Jamaican alien and we're going to put him in Thailand.
That's a pretty good impression.
Thank you. My great George Lucas impression. Which sounds a little bit like my David Lynch impression.
Yeah. Oh man, if David Lynch, I feel like David Lynch would have liked Final Fantasy. I'll say that.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
There's a boy, and he looks like a girl, and He's on a fantastical journey.
The main character dresses up like a girl and gets assaulted by a business owner.
There's a woman, and she is in trouble.
That's like pretty much every film of his.
It's like every single David Lynch film.
I had a dream, and in the dream there was a woman, and the woman, she looked scared, and she was in so much trouble.
And I had to take off her clothes. And that's how... fuck, what's that film called? Velvet. Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet.
Yeah. All the different things happening in the dreams, it's like, that depends on what film comes out.
Yeah,
Attacked by gangsters, wild at heart. Attacked by sex pests, Blue Velvet.
They are all just based on dreams he's had, obviously.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had some pretty fucking weird dreams.
I mean, we talked all about dreams for like half an episode recently, didn't we?
Yeah, so I mentioned to you about the Jack the Ripper stuff that I've been looking at recently.
Yes.
And the horrible photos of the victims. And the other night, I was trying to get to sleep, and the picture of her face just really fucked up. I couldn't get it out of my mind at all.
Yeah.
And as I was laying there, I came up with a great idea for like a horror game. A really low poly horror game. And each like chapter, it's not a long game, but you're playing they're like vignettes of the police. So the first one, you get called and you find the first body, and she's not that fucked up. And then you're on the beat and you find the next one and the one after that. And the very last one, you look through the window and you see him fucking this woman up, and she's like staring at you with a mangled face. And then all of a sudden he just comes at you. I think in my head that was terrifying. So I thought it was a really good horror game. Yeah, and it's like obviously London, like Victorian London, is a perfect setting for like a really cramped, low poly, freaky, like early Resident Evil style.
You could have a lot of fog.
Loads of fog, yeah. It would look like Morrowind. Really low field of view. Exactly, yeah. Make it really freaky. Yeah. And you catch him in the act as he's like ripping up this woman's body, and he comes at you, and that's when it ends.
And then you can choose to join in with him.
Yeah, and jerk off in the corner.
You can be like a voyeuristic. And it's like, this is why I joined the police force.
Finally, I catch one in the act.
You see, this is why you need me for those like Shyamalan twists.
Yes, exactly. Or it's actually you.
Oh,
you look
but
through the mirror and it's one of the
memory.
characters you've played doing it. You like look in the mirror and you have like a really recognizable face, and then it's you. Oh wow!
Yeah,
freaky.
It's incredible. We should crowdsource this. We should definitely. We should turn this into like a much bigger kind of media enterprise that includes a podcast and also a completely unrelated horror game about Jack the Ripper.
The Friends of Athelfair that include God Worshipping Society and the Ripper.
It's just unrelated.
And get Markiplier to play it and have some awful thumbnail. He's like, terrified.
Do you know what the worst kind of YouTube thumbnails are? Is the ones where it will be like, it's one of those like commentary channels where it's like about, and the video is always about like, this game or whatever is actually really problematic. And there'll be like a bunch, and the thumbnail will be like a bunch of like a collage of pictures from the game or film or the celebrity or whatever it is. And then the person, the YouTuber, their face will be in the middle. And they'll have like a face of like exaggerated,
around,
yeah, or like disgust. Those are the worst ones where it'll be like kind of shocked, and it's like, what? Okay, I'll admit this podcast is terrible, but so I can't really say much, but like, I don't get why you just make that kind of content where you're just talking about other people's content, especially when it gets into this really incestuous YouTube thing. You got this a lot in the late 2010s, or at least that's when I was conscious of it. I'm sure it's still going on now, but it's like, these so-called communities of fucking YouTubers just accusing each other of being bad, like not very nice people,
Well, it's just drama, forever. Isn't it? I mean, the drama's not as big now, but it still happens all the time, and you get drama chat, especially the video essays. It now tends to be like post-mortem analyses of drama.
Yeah, after someone gets like cancelled or whatever.
Yeah, so it's like pirate software. This is how it all failed, or this how he's a complete twat.
I hate the video essays where it's just like some guy who's just read a book and then is just summarizing like a non-fiction book or whatever, and is just summarizing that book, and then like in a really shitty like way that shows normally that they didn't really understand the book. Not that I read the book, but I can just assume that the book is like better than what they're saying, obviously.
Yeah,
and then and they'll just talk about this, and then at the end of the video they'll mention the book that they've just plagiarized,
sources, and it's just the book.
Yeah,
sources.
Or they'll just like, it'll be like, if you're interested in this, I got the idea from this video reading this book, and then you realize like, oh, okay, so that's just what the whole video is. You just summarize the book inaccurately. There's too much of that shit. There's a guy I saw, what's he called, Jimmy the Giant or something. He's some British YouTuber who makes those kinds of things. He did some video, I don't even know why I watched it, I was probably hungover. Some video about like he's trying to explain like class in the UK or whatever, and he's just talking about like petite bourgeoisie, and it's like, and it's just some one book that he read that came out like recently, and then it's like only at the end of the video does the book actually get mentioned.
At least it came out recently, and it's not something from like the 1950s that he's talking about.
Yeah, like some book about race or something.
Yeah, this is about social Darwinism. Is it real? Then he debunks it. It's like, yeah, no shit, buddy.
So what if different types of people have different average IQs?
That's exactly what it'd be like.
There are scientists who've actually written about this, and it's just like a book from the 1880s or something.
Yeah. It's Mein Kampf. Some people believe this to be true. Sources: Mein Kampf.
Have you ever tried reading Mein Kampf?
No, I've not. I've read some passages from it, but I've never sat down and been like, I'm going to read Mein Kampf today.
Yeah, I remember I've tried like a couple times to start it. But the thing is, like, it really isn't hard to tell. Like, you start reading and it's like, this is just trash. Like, this guy wasn't very smart.
Yeah. It's just the ravings of a lunatic. It doesn't take long to realise that this guy is just completely insane, which makes it even weirder that like Stalin never realised he was going to invade Russia. Half the book is him being like, we need to invade Russia.
Oh yeah, he goes on and on about that. It's like, and they would just talk about it, and it was very clear that they hated Slavs. I mean, that wasn't hidden. So it was, and communism, especially communism. So.
I've got a few books by, like, speaking of nut jobs writing books, I've got a few books by some right wackos, like Fraud. Graham Hancock, who's on Jerry occasionally. Yeah, I've got one of his books, which I tried to get through. It's a tome. And this was in, like, 2017 when I was in that real, fuck the dogma, the dogmatic orthodoxy of science and all this stuff. Complete bollocks. Yeah. And this book, I couldn't finish it. It was a complete slog. And I have a couple others by intelligent design guys. And there was a lecture at university the other day on a guy who just studies the origin of life. And I actually got one of a books signed by him. So that's pretty cool. And I was telling him about these intelligent design books. He was like, I'm not even going to bother reading them. I was like, yeah, don't. It will just piss you off.
That is the right attitude. I mean, it's just a stupid thing. Like, how are you going to prove that something was designed, like, if you can already explain it all, basically.
I have no problem with these people making arguments, but when they're saying, like, we shouldn't study origin of life because God did it, it's like, well, this is just insane. I mean, this is antithetical to science. How can you say you're a scientist and say we shouldn't look because God did it?
Yeah. And there is a theory. People are like, oh, but science hasn't been able to explain, like, how life came from nothing. And it's like, there are actually theories for that, of abiogenesis.
There's lots of theories.
Yeah. I remember reading about it myself, and it was like, it's all about, like, lipids accidentally forming into membranes.
I mean, this is the book I've got by Professor Nick Lane, who's UCL. The book's called Transformer. And yeah, this is about his research, which is on Origin Life. Got it signed there. Very cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, lipids forming, and I mean, what he was talking about. The listeners are now going to get a brief lecture.
Very nice.
Is so the black smokers, the geothermal vents, and everyone thinks of these big vents pumping out this black soup of nutrients and stuff, and life just kind of from that. Well, there's another type of vents that actually are more porous, and they have like a very porous structure, and they just sort of secrete alkaline fluids, and the alkaline fluids inside the porous structure and the acidic ocean on the outside kind of creates a similar boundary to what you'd find in a modern mitochondria. So you have a very alkaline inside and a very acidic outside, and then you have metallic ions in the walls of these vents, and the pores are kind of they're almost analogous to the cell and your cell wall, because they allow some exchange, and then over time, they've been able to show that you can generate some organic compounds just through pure reactions, just occurring as ions transfer between the acidic and the alkaline solutions.
Yeah.
And then, after some time, you end up with some organic molecules like nucleic acids, and then they form chains in random orders, and eventually your proteins your amino acids will attach to those chains in non-random orders. So you've got random information that creates non-random proteins. And all it takes is one that can replicate itself, and you've got life, basically.
Yeah, it's like monkeys with typewriters.
Exactly. So and it only needs to happen once, and that's it. Life has started.
Yeah, and then once it starts, life... What's the Jurassic Park quote?
Life finds a way.
Down the conversation.
Life finds a way. Well, it's similar. And there's RNA RNA itself can form into enzymes that can catalyze reactions. So you end up forming these random polymers. Eventually, they'll fold into a way that can replicate itself or replicate another strand of RNA. And over billions of fucking years. I mean, it's not a hard concept to grasp that life could have arisen randomly.
No. I mean, it's something you experience, like, in real life on other scales. Like, not in terms of life itself, but you see things, falling into
emerging,
place.
Yeah, from, coincidences are effectively just a random chance happening in your daily life. You meet a friend outside. Well, imagine that meeting is actually some event in the formation of life. And if you meet them 3 times in a week, well, eventually you're going to meet your friend 3 times in a week because you're both in the same area. You're both going to the shop. Ions are transferring. Eventually something's going to happen. And
Absolutely.
All it takes is that one event for it all to kick off.
So to go back to the thing you were talking about at the start of that little description, were you saying that, like, these mineral formations kind of have the same shape as, like, cells, essentially?
Similar. I mean, it's more like a porous rock. So you have you've got an aperture inside, and then you've got small pores that allow for some liquid to transfer in and out. And because the pressure's from within, it's pushing out. So you end up with this gradient. And because there are metallic ions inside the surface, they can catalyze reactions. Like your hemoglobin has iron in it, chlorophyll has magnesium. So those allow the reactions to be catalyzed, and that's why you find reliances on certain metal atoms, potentially, because if life started this way, it's going to need to keep that same structure going. And so it need to be binding with magnesium or with iron or any number of metal ions.
I guess one of the main hindrances to formulating a theory of abiogenesis is that for a long time, since the 19th century probably, people have tried to just kind of come up with a theory for how life forms in almost a vacuum, as it were. Yeah. What I mean is, like, without taking into consideration, like, geography or, like, mineral structures or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, they're just imagining it happening somewhere in the sea. out of nowhere, instead of like thinking, okay, well maybe there are rocks that are conducive to those kinds of chemical transfers or whatever, and then it becomes a lot more conceivable, because you've got it's like, oh no, that's why it would happen. Like, it doesn't just happen out of nowhere. Like, there are already structures in place that are conducive to it starting.
Yeah, and imagine you have a test tube the size of the planet Earth, and you can mix all this stuff together. And there's stuff about tidal pools, so nutrients are brought, various chemicals are brought into a tidal pool, and then the tide goes down, and now all these chemicals are kind of in a reaction vat and are allowed to react, and then the tide washes some in and out, and then it comes down again, and you end up with your fats that are forming your cell membranes, like, that capture a certain number of molecules, and then you've got an even smaller reaction vessel where things can't just freely move in and out.
Yeah,
I don't think the concept that life could have started randomly is particularly outrageous in the slightest.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows like this kind of tendency towards anthropomorphization, I guess.
Yeah.
If we think like why would it happen randomly? It's like, I don't experience things happening randomly that often. Like, most of the things I experience in my daily life aren't random. It's like, because you don't really live in nature. Like, you live in like probably a city or something. So everything around you has been kind of designed or built by humans.
And even if you did live in nature, you could still say that nothing's really that random because I choose to go here. It's still anthropomorphizing it.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at animism.
Yeah,
the first religion, not really a religion, but
spirituality.
I like animism though. Yeah, it seems pretty cool.
It's not like there isn't space for God in the idea that life came about randomly. I mean, could God not have seeded? If he started the universe with the laws of physics as they are, life has to arise. I mean, it's almost inevitable.
Ooh, that's an interesting. That's very what's the word? It's like predestination,
like deterministic.
Deterministic, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm running on low battery.
Yeah. If you the philosopher of the podcast, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's inevitable, but I think given the time frames and the chemistry, things will everything is so perfect here on Earth for life that it couldn't have not happened. And the thing is, if you look at like a probability chart, 99% of the time, no life, 0.01% of the time, life. If you just repeat that over and over again, eventually you're going to hit that life, and that's it. There's no going back from that. Unless your first cell dies, but and even if it does, and you're back to the beginning, and it keeps occurring over and over. I mean, there's billions of years in this. I think people can't comprehend the timescales, and they think, oh, that would never happen. It's the same with evolution. So I'm ranting now.
Yeah,
people are like,
it's okay.
Billions of years. How can evolution happen? Why are there still? It's just I mean, it's not easy to understand. But the timescales involved are so enormous.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
yeah, sorry. I get
shit, what was I gonna say? It's okay. Well, one thing I was gonna say...
Yeah, go on.
One thing I was gonna say is the funny thing about creationism is it's not even... Like, St. Augustine, in the 5th century, literally wrote that the account of creation given in Genesis is not, like, it's like symbolic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not literal. And that was in the 5th century. So the idea that like a true Christian believes in this kind of American evangelical style creationism, it's like not even Saint Augustine believed in that.
Yeah, people thousands of years ago knew the world was not flat. I mean, the ancient Greeks figured it out with maths. You can figure it out with maths too, and a stick in 2 places. Go and get a stick, and go and get a stick in another place. You can figure out that the Earth is a sphere.
I was reading the start of the Summa Theologiae, by Thomas Aquinas, and he's like within the first like paragraph or first few paragraphs. Oh my god,
cat appearance.
Cat just jumped on the laptop. He's talking about how the Earth is round. Like it's pretty funny. People knew well about that in the Middle Ages.
I mean, I feel as though a lot of these, the thing about flat Earth is that it's kind of become, it's almost a pejorative, right? You know, you say if you want to decry some historical figure, you'd say, oh, he didn't think the Earth was round. You know, Columbus, oh, he thought the Earth was pear-shaped. Something like this, to decry some historical figure. And without getting too Tony Soprano on it, you know, Columbus has a bit of backlash.
I was just going to say.
Recently. It's fucking Columbus.
It's anti-Italian.
It's anti-Italian.
Yeah,
exactly.
Anti-Italian discrimination.
I'm not sure that Columbus did think the Earth was pear-shaped or something. You know, I mean, he made mistakes.
Who cares what he thought? He wasn't even a scientist.
Yeah, he was an explorer. He had the balls to sail that way, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
he just wanted a lot of money and fame and...
Yeah, and was willing to risk his life to do it. I mean, he sailed to fucking nowhere. People thought there was just nothing.
It is funny how he kept insisting for the rest of his life that it was India.
Yeah, that's typical of people, though.
Even though, like, other people, I think, at that time, were, like, towards the end of his life, were saying, like, this is not India.
This is definitely not India, yeah.
This is a different continent, and he just wouldn't accept that.
What do we call it today? We still call it the West Indies.
Yeah, but not because we think it's in India.
No, I know. But the name is stuck, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we still call it...
Whenever I hear West Indies, I just think of the cricket team.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my dad was talking about the West Indies cricket all the time, and I was like, is that like India?
Yeah, it was very confusing to me. I was like, wait, they're like black? But what kind of Indians
What's going
are
on
they?
here?
Yeah, what is happening?
What's going on? I just don't understand. But yeah.
They got black guys playing cricket. What the fuck is going on?
Very good at cricket too.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, anyone who's like, any people who are like, by Western standards, as you would call it, ethnic, are just way better at cricket than like British people or whatever. And you watch like Indian, what's it called, T20 cricket, and it's just like, it's like you see that and you're like, oh, maybe this doesn't have to be a boring sport, you know? Maybe that's just how we play it.
See, the thing about stereotypes is like, sure, there's a basis for them, and not everyone fits the stereotype, but it does help with conversation starters, right? Because when I like an Indian guy's talking to me at the pub, I'm like, oh, you into cricket? And if they say no, then I'm like, me neither. And if they say yes, I'm like, well, I'm not. But it's a start, right? It's a start.
Oh, so you're saying the validity of stereotypes is it allows you to assume a good potential in point for a conversation?
I think it offers that because it's almost humorous. It's not like I'm going up to a Chinese guy and being like, you're good at maths, huh? You like maths?
Yeah.
Because cricket's
you like
jolly.
go up to a black guy and you're like,
you like basketball?
White women.
You like chicken, huh?
What?
You know.
White women, don't you love them?
So, you like chicken, huh? And they're like, no, not really. And I'm like, yeah, me neither. It's a blossoming friendship right there.
It was just a starter. I just go, you know, I have to start somewhere.
It's funny.
I'm just breaking your balls.
I just thought it was funny.
It's a starter topic.
It's just a starter. What's the problem? What are you fucking crazy?
More like Seinfeld. I sounded more like Steinfeld then.
Steinfeld.
It's an assumption. It's just a way to start a conversation.
Oh my god. This is just what is this episode devolving into? What the fuck? What's
Jerry asked her if she liked chicken.
I don't get what was wrong, Jerry.
I thought they all liked it.
Spotify's like chapter AI. It's gonna have a breakdown when it is. What's it gonna even call this? Like assuming stereotypes and conversation starters.
The ethics of starting a conversation on a racial stereotype with someone from that racial group.
Yeah.
A treatise.
Yeah. If someone says to me, oh, you like coleslaw, huh? I don't know. I'm trying to think of like racist or, you know, stereotypes against white people. So you like your food mild, huh? I'm like,
I feel like coleslaw Coleslaw's popular in like the American South, isn't it? I feel
Yeah,
like that's part of soul food.
I feel like a lot of these like white people stereotypes are more like American wasp stereotypes.
Oh yeah, not like
anything
us.
else. Yeah.
Nah,
I don't know.
We're basically black by those standards, you know.
By American racial purity standards, we are basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I can
what
dance,
stereotypes
you
do
know.
we have?
What, English people or white people?
That's a good white English. Yeah, I don't know. They kind of merge together. What a multicultural nation we are.
It's funny how little
We like
Americans
sailing.
understand the UK.
Yeah,
Like Americans
absolutely.
think that their idea of a British person is just like a 19th century British person. It must be so enchanting when they come here. Like if you're an American and you come here as like a student or something, you're like, you know, because you want to go to like Hogwarts. Because I feel like the only Americans who do that are the ones who really like Harry Potter and stuff. And then they come here and like they just see like roadmen. It must be such a shock.
Yeah, they see
Yeah.
that we're actually
They're
just
expecting-
like people living our lives.
They're expecting like, you know, to meet Jacob Elordi and like
Who the fuck is
or a-
Jacob Elordi?
He's just some actor. I think he was in that Wuthering Heights film that came out.
Oh yeah, he was whatever his name is.
Yeah, you know, tall, handsome guy.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah. They're expecting that, and then they get here, and it's just like, you what, fam?
I'll shank you, bruv. Yeah. Kind of shatters the illusion. They've all got wands that they're going to stab you with.
Yeah. I saw a video of Tucker Carlson
Oh,
talking
God.
about
Fucking Tucker
British
Carlson.
people. And he was saying, like, never forget who you are. You are an ancient Germanic Celtic people who conquered the whole world. Never forget that. You're not European.
I hate
It's like-
that.
It's just the same. It's just
Who is he to
annoying
tell us?
identity.
Fuck
But
off,
also,
Tucker
it's like-
Carlson.
We didn't conquer the world because we have some kind of mystical, special attribute,
No.
you know, as a people, because of some unique thing that only the English have. It's
Except
like
for good
obviously
coal.
not true. Yeah, we were in a good spot geographically to take over the transatlantic trade network.
Yeah, good
And
access to the Atlantic, a good navy for that global power projection.
and we had to have a good navy because we were an island nation.
Yeah.
So obviously we're going to have a good navy. And, you know, and then a bunch of random events happened and we industrialized first.
We're in
Because-
Europe, so we're constantly competing with our neighbours to advance, which gives us that edge.
Yeah.
that
And we
some
developed
other-
a
many other
class
nations
system.
didn't have.
Yeah. And we developed a class system where the aristocracy weren't as at odds with the rising middle class as they were in, say, France. You know?
Yeah.
That's so, which made the Industrial Revolution more.
Well, we had our Civil
more of
War.
a smooth. Yeah, but even in the Civil War, it's a lot more messy than like
Yeah.
like if you look at the French Revolution, they're very conscious of the estates, you know, and which one they belong to and who's on what side. Whereas in the English Civil War, it's like, you know, there's aristocrats on both sides. There's all this religious stuff getting in the way of it, you know. Who did I hear recently who was... I think I saw a clip of that fucking Sargon of Akkad saying that, like,
Oh my god.
the English Civil War wasn't that bad or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, not like
was
American
fucking horrible.
Civil War standards, but it was in the 17th century. Like, what do you
Yeah.
expect? But it was so early compared to like the French Revolution or the American Civil War, where we had
Yeah.
that social pressure, kind of away from absolutism or the pretense of absolutism that kind of drove things on a bit. I think. Like
Yeah, well, I think...
a social pressure against it.
even before the Industrial Revolution happened, in England, I think we were basically the first country to move towards like a modern class
Yeah.
system.
Absolutely.
You know, I think because like the agricultural workforce got more rights, essentially, but we had all these enclosure acts, which was basically a way to detach peasants from the land, because peasants are obviously one with the land that they work on. They're like,
Serfs.
you know, part of the same property. But we developed we introduced these enclosure acts that basically detached them from the land so that they had to wander around and find work, you know. And it was fucking brutal. Yeah, it was actually horrible, incredibly violent. We had the peasant revolt with Wat Tyler.
Many various revolts and things.
Yeah, but that was like late 14th century. I think it might just be because the Black Death was. I might be wrong on this, but I think it might have hit England worse than anywhere else in Europe, except perhaps Italy. And you know, Italy had the Renaissance not long afterwards. So the Black Death must be like, we talked about this before, but that must have been like the thing that made Europe, you know, go in the direction it did.
And also, we had just good natural resources. Like we had good agriculture, and then good natural. I mean, ever since the Roman times, you know, we had ever since the Bronze Age, you know, people were interested in Britain because we had tin.
All those Greeks buying their fucking tin from. I always wonder, like, what would it have been like to be like a Greek merchant going to Britain then?
Yeah,
you know,
that must have been a backwards fucking place. You think of the weather now and like how shit the weather can be, and you're like, I'm nice and cozy in my bed. Imagine just living in some hut. You gotta be a hard fucking bastard.
Yeah, I mean,
to weather this.
This is the Bronze Age, so at this point, like, the only civilization in Europe is the Greeks, the Mycenaean Greeks, or the Minoans before them. Not, they weren't really Greek, but you know what I mean. Like, there was nothing else. So you had to go all the way to Britain, and there's just fuck all that whole way. There's just like the most. I don't think it was like hunter-gatherers in Europe. There was agriculture and stuff, but it was so primitive, and like I don't think there were no states.
Tribal. It wasn't like a city, or a city-state. Yeah, exactly.
It was just like static, sedentary tribes that didn't really have any organization. Certainly no means of collecting taxes or anything, which is really how you get a civilization going. You got to have taxes.
Got to get a state infrastructure.
That's why civilization first appeared in Sumer, in what's now Iraq, because that was the best in the Fertile Crescent. That was the best place to farm like wheat. So. And obviously wheat you make bread and beer with, and those grains are much more easily stored. There was agriculture all over the world at that point, pretty much, but most of the agriculture was farming vegetables and stuff like that basically just degrades very quickly. So you can't store it in like big grain houses and tax. Whereas in the Fertile Crescent, because they were farming wheat and barley and stuff, you could actually store that stuff, which means it's taxable, which means you can then have a government to enforce the slavery that you're doing to extract all that stuff. So that's how civilization started, and that's why it started there rather than anywhere else. So
but I mean, it did pop up in like the Indus River Valley and
but the Sumerians were the very
the Olmecs and stuff like this. China, of course. Of course.
I actually read that. I didn't read it, but I heard that there was some study that came out recently that showed that like rice farming requires a much more kind of collective approach, and that's why Chinese culture is so much more like collectively oriented.
I don't think it's as easy to kind of mechanize not mechanize, but you know, you can use an ox to pull a plow and then harvest things. A bit easier when you're not submerged to the waist in gritty water.
You got to have more teamwork for sure. When I went to Vietnam, I saw a ton of rice farming going on. It was all rice or corn. That was the other thing they farmed. Lots of corn, and they made this drink out of corn. They stored the corn in these big like vats that kind of look like Roman amphorae. You know?
Oh, cool.
These like big clay vats. Yeah, and they just ferment the corn to make this drink, which they called Happy Water, which is just like an incredibly strong moonshine that they drink all over the place in the countryside. It's like that. You're drinking Happy Water and smoking out of the Happy Bong, which is just a bamboo pipe lifestyle. In a bucket. They seem pretty jolly. Those were Hmong people. They were very cool. They had very cool outfits. I saw the Hmong women. They wear like really decorated, like embroidered outfits. and they just farm all day long. I mean, their life probably fucking sucks, to be honest. It's probably
does it?
so
I mean, like,
shit.
Isn't it relative? You know, it's kind of relative. If they're happy, like, do you think your life sucks if you're happy all the time?
I remember talking to a Hmong lady at a market, and she was like, she was like, how old are you? And I think I was 24 at the time. So I was like, oh, I'm 24. And she was like, oh, I'm your age. I'm 25. I have 5 children.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then she gave me, she gave all of us, everyone in the group, she gave for free these, like wrists, these like embroidered Hmong, like kind of bracelet things for free, cool. Because she said we were so beautiful. Wow. They love white people in Vietnam. I got to say that. At one point, I went to a market, and this old Vietnamese lady was like, she had her phone on a selfie stick, and she was on like a FaceTime call on her phone, and she was just walking around, you know, muttering in Vietnamese. And then she saw my girlfriend, and then her face lit up, and she turned the selfie stick so that it was just so that the phone camera was just directly pointing at my girlfriend, and she was just talking about my girlfriend in Vietnamese to her friend over the phone. It was like,
oh wow,
so fucking yeah. The best encounter I had in Vietnam was actually, it was the same market. I wanted to buy a disposable vape. And
insanely strong disposable vape, I assume.
Well, here's the thing. I went to the vape stall, and there was a guy there, and he had like a golden ring on every finger. Beautiful. And like golden bracelets, and like a fake Versace shirt and chinos. And I went up to him. I started looking at all the vapes, and I noticed they were all 50 milligram in strength, i.e. 5%. Yeah. And I said to him, like, do you have any 20 milligram vapes? And he was like, listen, man, I work in a vape factory, all right? I know what goes on in there. If anyone ever tells you, wherever you are, that the vape they're selling you is 20 milligrams, no, fuck you. They're lying. Tell them that. Say, fuck you. Every vape is 50 milligrams. And I was like, well, actually, in England, it's illegal to sell a vape that's stronger than 20 milligrams. And he was like, no, they're lying to you. Fuck you. And then it worked, because I ended up buying the 50 milligram vape.
You got some really strong. And was it stronger than a 20 milligram?
It was incredibly strong. It was absolutely. It actually wasn't even nice, but it was all I had. You know, it's better than nicotine withdrawal. But
it's like one hit a day is all you can take.
Oh my God, man! It would like, you know how like if you haven't had any nicotine for a while, and then you have some, and you get like, you know, tingles all over your body.
Yeah, really blows your mind.
I used to get that every morning. I no longer get that anymore, really. I have to like really not vape for a long time to get it. But every hit of that Vietnamese vape was like that. Every hit was just, you know, just sent tingles all over my body. And in that sense, it was quite nice, but it was also just fucking overkill. And it tasted horrible.
At that point, it probably feels like poison.
And when you combine it with the insanely strong coffee that you get in Vietnam, you cannot get normal strength coffee. Every coffee they drink just sends your body into overdrive. It's so fucking strong.
So they do the one with the egg there, where you put like a...
Yeah, that's very common.
Yeah.
That comes from the war, because they ran out of like condensed milk or cream. Normally, it's either that or condensed milk with the coffee, which I've actually started having at home. I bought some condensed milk. I can imagine that's quite nice, actually. It's really not. I mean, it must be really bad for you because it's so sugary, but it actually does taste pretty good, and it feels cool. It feels like you're Vietnamese, but the coffee is 50 like
50 milligram vape with a strong condensed milk coffee.
The coffee is so strong in Vietnam as well. It's like everything. It's basically every product they sell is designed to sustain an economy where no one sleeps and everyone works like 5 jobs. You know, that's why. I mean, I guess all of Asia's like this. That's why they all drink so much tea and stuff. You know,
it's the GDP overdrive, dude.
Yeah, it's like when I was at uni and like, you know, I was in those halls that were with lots of Chinese students, and they just didn't appear to sleep ever. They were just constantly chain smoking outside, and it's like, this is weird. Like, how does this work? You know, do you not sleep? Like, is this just? It's just constant. How are you all not just dying? You're smoking so many cigarettes, and they're all Chinese cigarettes, so they must be really bad for you.
I mean, you were awake long enough to tell that they weren't sleeping, so...
That's true. Yeah, but I was like on a semi-nocturnal kind of lifestyle.
Okay.
You know,
just keeping an eye.
So
on
you know, bed at 4 a.m., wake up around like 2 p.m. You know, so I would encounter them at night, and then on other days I would be forced to follow a normal sleep schedule.
Ugh.
Yeah, this is something I've realized about myself. Is it's not just a bad habit that I've developed since I was about 12 years old, and the moment I got a laptop. Okay, it's not that. Well, actually not a laptop, but like a BlackBerry or whatever, you know. That's not the problem. I genuinely, biologically, have a different sleep schedule naturally. If you put me in the state of nature, I would be going to sleep at 4 in the morning and waking up at 2 p.m. And I think it's actually, I think there is a biological reason for it. I think it's because I am atavistic. I'm closer to a hunter-gatherer than the average human is. You know, I've got like pure hunter-gatherer genotype,
right?
But my role in the group, biologically predetermined, would be to guard the camp.
Yeah, like a scout
at night. Yeah, I'd be watching over at night, and I think that must be why. And it, you know, it's really annoying. Like when I do actually have a job, you know, having to wake up at like 7 o'clock. What the fuck is that about?
You should be a night security guard.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should be a bouncer or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or I might...
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I'm not sure you'd be a great bouncer.
With my fucking hair down to my shoulders.
Yeah,
I'm sure there are long-haired bouncers. I could do like I'll wear a ponytail. I'll go for like a Furio in Surprise.
Yes, yeah. Wear a suit.
There is
like
a bee in your hat. No, like a black leather jacket, black shirt.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Pretend to be Italian and like emphasize. You'd seem way harder.
Talk about how much I hate the North because they're rich or something. They're like, no, the North is poorer than the South. I'm like, no, I'm talking about the Italia.
Yeah, no one's got any idea what you're talking about.
I'm talking about how much I hate Milan or something.
Yeah, just mumbling to yourself, chain smoking.
I can understand that attitude having been to Italy because the people in the North do seem a lot less friendly. They're basically French people. You go to Milan, they're just French people. Yeah, they're just French people. They're quiet. They're not loud. English people have this annoying stereotype of Italians that they're all really loud and bombastic.
Yeah.
You know, the only part of the Italian stereotype that's actually true is that I think they all have extreme Oedipus complexes.
Right.
But other than that,
Oedipuses.
Yeah. They are a very, very Oedipal people. I mean, that's why they're obsessed with the Virgin Mary. You know?
The mother, yeah.
And it's probably because the food is so good. So they associate
good cooking with mama.
Yeah, exactly. You know, whereas in England, the food is terrible, so we all hate our mothers.
Right, okay. I think you're on.
And that's why we're all gay in the UK as well. That's why we're such a gay country.
What's that thing about? There's that old thing, isn't there, where like the British became such good sailors so they wouldn't have to go home and see their wives or something like that, so they could get away from home.
That is funny.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Any conclusionary statement on that bombshell?
Well, I'm just wondering what we should title this episode.
Christ only knows. To be honest.
I think we need to go back to, you know, the English nationalism thing.
Yeah, we're just baiting again. We
could just call it This Is England.
Yeah.
We just call it that. I think that would probably get some hits.
I think that's a good idea. This Is England.
From entirely the wrong audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's an idea. This Danny Bones guy, what if there was like a Chinese version of him?
Yeah.
He was like a Chinese nationalist.
A Chinese Taiwanese. A Chinese AI nationalist.
But he's actually Taiwanese because he's a nationalist.
Bring back the days of Chiang Kai-shek.
Yeah, he's like pro-Kuomintang.
Yeah. Slightly outdated.
Yeah. Well, that's an idea. That's food for thought.
There you go. So think on that, listeners, and give us a comment if you like that idea of Chinese Danny Bones supporting the Kuomintang.
And then once I do get a job, I will be able to invest in some kind of LLM that will allow me to generate the Chinese Danny Bones
And us as well, to do these podcasts more frequently.
And they could have something in common, because Danny Bones the Englishman doesn't like Muslims, and the Chinese Danny Bones presumably would hate, the Uyghurs, yeah.
The Uyghurs, yeah.
Yeah.
When you say Danny Bones the Englishman, you mean the AI fictitious Englishman?
Well, I guess. I mean, I can't tell these days. You know,
Really,
I log on
don't
to
like
Facebook.
the idea that there's some generated Englishman going around.
You need to hang around on Facebook more, Felix.
Do
Open
I?
your mind a bit.
Yeah, maybe I should.
You're halfway there with the Graham Hancock book, I guess.
Yeah, but
That's somewhat boomer coded, isn't
to be
it?
fair, I
Actually,
lent
it's
that
not
to my
really.
friend, and I haven't got it back, so I technically don't have that anymore.
Oh, what?
For the best. It doesn't look good on my bookshelf, but I have some mad ones by what's his name, Michael Behe or something, about evolution and creationism. So
There you go. Wonderful
Yeah.
stuff.
wonderful.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for episode 20.
Thank you for listening.
Join us next week for the moment when the podcast hits USA legal drinking age.
Yes, she already owns a gun
Absolutely.
and can drive, but we're not drinking and driving just yet.
And she's a porn star, don't forget.
Of course, only
Yeah.
reasonable things here. She's got to get her rent somehow. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's real work. What can I say? All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Give us a comment, give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you don't do at least one of those things, then your mother will die in her sleep tonight. If you don't do all of them, then she will die within the coming months.
So watch out.
So, yeah. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Have a wonderful week. Amen.
Oh man.